shop with Dad, popping tags. You got a smoking deal. What you got there, Dad?
I got a chair.
You got a chair.
Yep, for concerts, we're going on the beach, $3. It's for kids, but it's really heavy.
I got a yoga mat. It only smells a little bit like pee. That'll come out in the wash. Let's go play a game.
Extra funky.
Yeah. Okay, Dad. This game is called How Many Knives Can Dad Juggle at Once? I'm putting money down that you can juggle 7.
Yeah, I'm juggling none.
Start with 9 and then just work your way down. Tell me about the day I was born.
The day you were born? That's a long story.
That's okay.
Well, let's see.
It's a pretty important story.
Yeah. I was going to school for 7 hours a day, and have a 1 hour break, and I'd do 8 hours at the gas station. It was like 2 miles away from home, the apartment we were living in Winona. But anyway, Mom was up there at the time, or down there in Winona. She had came to be with Mom when she has you. And I think I was at work at the gas station. Little guy says, "Paul, you got to get to the hospital. Your wife's having a baby."
And why were you living in Winona at the time?
I was going to school for motorcycle technician. And of course, it was the day before Halloween. And so I went to the hospital, and Mom had insisted on having a woman doctor. She'd never delivered a baby before. And she broke the water too early. And Mom was delivering from the time they first told her to start pushing to the time you were born, like 23 hours, 26 hours. Lost your heartbeat 3 times. They called the code blue, which means heart failure. They asked me if I wanted to save the mother or the child, and I said we're going to save them both. There is no choice here. And I said, just let me know when she should start pushing again. By then, she was exhausted, absolutely exhausted. And I said, just let me know when she should start pushing again. And the doctor said, no. And I grabbed your mom by the gown, and I just screamed at her, Koreans are weak, you're a big baby. And I started slapping her. She tried to kick my ass. It did. God's honest truth. She tried to get off that bed to kick my ass. She wanted to fight. And the doctor said, here she comes, or here he comes, or here the baby comes. And this part ain't for public or whatever, but your face was out that far, and your eyes locked on mine. It's like, thanks, Dad. And it was like 10, 10, 2 and 1, and I asked the doctor, I said, is his head supposed to be shaved like that? You look just like a cone head, man.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, that's real common. I did not know that.
I hear, yeah.
But yeah. And then, well, boy, there's more to that story, because your mom slept for like 2 days straight. And I went and saw you. By then it was Halloween. And went out with the boys in town to celebrate, and there was some guy all mad at somebody or something. Said, go get my buddy out of the bar, and I was like, screw you, you go do it. And, the guy said, I'll show you. So he went and had a demolition derby in the parking lot to the Mississippi Queen bar.
Jeez.
He smashed into like 20 cars with all of us standing there, and he got stuck up on top of a brand new car with an old Chevy pickup. So it was quite an eventful couple of days for me.
Jeez. So from what I remember, though, the what you called mom, those weren't the adjectives you used.
No, no, I was a little stronger.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I could see her getting pissed off. Though. She's pretty feisty.
well, she didn't take no shit from me. Well, hello.
Where are we?
This is where the magic happened. What's the name of the beach, Josh?
Oreti Beach.
Oreti Beach.
Beach.
Oreti Beach. This is where the world's fastest Indian, the beach scene, was filmed. This is where Burt Monroe used to test out his bike.
Ah,
All up and down.
cool.
And according to the locals, we came in through the same entrance that they used in the movie during the filming for when the biker gangs and everybody pulled in. This is it.
So, my friend Eric Ski, right here, he has created this wonderful traditional Scottish dessert called. Can you try?
So it's Cranachan. It's a very simple dessert. It's just got cream, honey, a little bit of whiskey, raspberries, and oats.
see.
So
You had
yeah,
that.
traditional summer dessert.
You had me at whiskey.
Yeah. And so when he says a little bit for
Yeah,
Scottish
I
people,
know.
I mean like 7 gallons. Plus I've had this with Eric once or twice before. It's my dad's first exposure to it. So thank you, Eric. I bet it's wonderful. So I've got my dad here making his world famous scallop potatoes, or very, very similar to it, which is quite a staple when we were growing up. Mommy always used to make it in this big steel kind of domed baking vessel. What about when you learned Mom was pregnant with Danny? And me too, but what was your reaction?
Cool.
Just
It's-
cool.
Well, it's what you did back then. I mean,
Yeah.
you got married, you had kids.
That's true.
With Danny being born, Ma woke me up and said, Okey's water broke. And okay, I'm going to take a quick shower and I'll be right behind you guys. We just lived in that house I showed you in Grand Rapids, not far from the hospital. And because I thought it was going to be another long drawn out thing, she went to the hospital and had Danny like that. And
Experienced.
yeah, she came back and said, "You have a son." And it's like I got on my bike and I rode through town like a maniac and got to the hospital and parked my bike right at the emergency exit and entrance. And when I came out, the Palo Constable I used to outrun all the time, he was then a Grand Rapids cop, and he was sitting behind the bike drumming his fingers on the steering wheel. And his name was Steve Valley. And he always wanted to catch me, and he never could. I used to outrun him all the time. And I just walked up to him and said, "It's a boy." And I got on my bike and I went spinning out of there, and he didn't bust me for it.
That's pretty good.
I always felt bad I wasn't there when Danny was born.
Oh, you were just operating on the best information you had at the time. Now you didn't know any better. I wouldn't feel bad personally.
He cried for 9 months straight.
See, you made up for it.
Do you remember that?
No, I don't.
He had 2 broken clavicles, first of all. And he cried for 9 months straight. He'd cry for 2 hours and sleep for an hour. And your poor mom was exhausted. We lived out at Trannyman Transmissions at the time. And you were about 3 and you carried around that raggedy knitted doll that is like a Raggedy Andy or something. That Auntie Deb made for you. Monkey
I remember it, yeah.
sock thingy.
Still have it.
Really?
Yes, I think I still have it.
And that blue Snoopy jacket got from Tommy Hill. But anyway, Mom woke me up one day and says, Paul, Danny's not crying. He didn't cry all night. And it's like, and you were tra-la-laing through the house. And I said, Josh, go see what your brother's doing. And you came back and he said, he's sucking on his toes. That's when he quit crying. But he cried for 9 months straight.
Wow.
Your mom was
That's
exhausted.
been awful. These little creatures are called, I believe so anyway, they're called limpets, and they're edible, and ancient peoples would eat those kind of all over seafaring areas. But I've actually eaten them here before. I don't think they're particularly good, but